Decades in Review, a journey through 20th century events, fashion, culture, and technology. The dawn of aviation in the 1900s marked a significant leap for mankind, propelling us into a new era of exploration and connectivity. This pioneering spirit was mirrored in the Art Nouveau movement, which influenced global fashion and architecture with its organic forms and intricate patterns, blending art with nature in an unprecedented way. The 1910s were overshadowed by the Titanic tragedy, a somber reminder of human fallibility amidst technological advancement. This decade also witnessed the horrors of World War I, reshaping societies and economies. Amidst the turmoil, women's suffrage movements gained momentum, challenging traditional gender roles and advocating for equal rights, marking a crucial step towards gender equality. The Roaring Twenties were characterized by the Jazz Age and flapper fashion, embodying a period of liberation and cultural dynamism. The Harlem Renaissance celebrated African American culture, contributing significantly to the literary and artistic landscape. Meanwhile, technological advances, particularly the radio, began to shrink the world, fostering a sense of global community. The 1930s were dominated by the Great Depression, affecting millions worldwide and highlighting the fragility of global economies. Yet, it was also a time of artistic innovation, with Art Deco leading the way in design and aesthetics. The film industry too saw advancements, with new technologies transforming cinema into a major form of mass entertainment. World War II defined the 1940s, bringing about profound changes in society and technology. Women entered the workforce in unprecedented numbers, adapting workwear into practical yet stylish outfits. This period also marked the infancy of the digital computer age, laying the groundwork for the technological revolution that would shape the latter half of the 20th century. The 1950s heralded the birth of rock and roll, shaking up the music scene with icons like Elvis Presley leading the charge. This era also marked the golden age of television, transitioning entertainment from radio and cinema to the comfort of one's living room. Fashion witnessed a revolution with Christian Dior's new look, which introduced a silhouette emphasizing femininity and luxury post-war. The 1960s were defined by significant social movements, including the fight for civil rights, which sought to end racial segregation and discrimination. The space race captured global attention, symbolizing technological and exploratory ambition. Music saw the British invasion, with bands like the Beatles reshaping the sound of the decade. Fashion responded with the mod movement, characterized by bold geometric patterns and a palette that broke from the past. The 1970s were a tumultuous period marked by the Vietnam War's end and the rise of disco and punk cultures, reflecting a society in flux. This era also saw significant advancements in video game technology, laying the groundwork for a burgeoning entertainment industry. Fashion and music intertwined, with disco influencing styles that were bold, colorful, and full of life. The 1980s witnessed the Cold War's final years, a period filled with political tension and the looming threat of nuclear escalation. However, it was also a time of immense cultural richness, with the pop music scene exploding, thanks to artists like Michael Jackson and Madonna. Fashion made bold statements with neon colors and shoulder pads, reflecting the decade's exuberance. The personal computer revolution began, changing how people worked, played, and communicated. The 1990s saw significant global shifts, including the fall of the Berlin Wall, symbolizing the Cold War's end and a new era of global relations. Music scenes diversified with the rise of grunge and hip-hop, challenging previous pop dominance. The internet's widespread adoption forever changed the information landscape, while digital cellular phones started shrinking the world, making communication instant and borderless. Fashion leaned towards grunge and casual, mirroring the decade's technological and cultural upheaval. Exploring the North Pole marked an era of daring adventure and technological innovation, captivating the world's imagination. This period also saw the automobile transform everyday life, making distant places and new experiences more accessible. The Edwardian era's elegance permeated global fashion, with refined silhouettes and luxurious fabrics becoming the hallmark of style. The sinking of the RMS Lusitania shocked the world, underscoring the grim realities of modern warfare and altering the course of World War I. Meanwhile, the silent film era reached its zenith, offering an escape into worlds of romance and comedy. Cubism, with its bold abstraction, challenged traditional perceptions of art, influencing various creative fields. The 1920s roared with the Prohibition era in the US, which, ironically, gave rise to speakeasies and jazz clubs, shaping a vibrant cultural scene. The Bauhaus movement emerged, advocating for functional yet elegant design in art, architecture, and everyday objects. The decade also celebrated technological triumph with the first transatlantic telephone call, shrinking the globe. The 1930s were marked by the construction of iconic structures like the Empire State Building, symbols of human ambition during the Great Depression. Swing music provided a joyful respite from economic woes, and the ominous rise of the Nazi regime in Europe began to cast long shadows over the continent. The 1940s were defined by the development of the atomic bomb, bringing the world into the nuclear age. World War II also introduced rationing and utility clothing, reflecting the era's austerity. Yet, it was during this time that the civil rights movement in the US began to take shape, laying the groundwork for profound societal changes. The 1950s saw the Korean War dominate headlines, bringing geopolitical tensions into the living rooms of the global population through the advent of color television. Literature also took a rebellious turn with the Beat Generation, challenging societal norms and paving the way for future countercultures. As the 1960s unfolded, the Cuban Missile Crisis brought the world to the brink of nuclear war, highlighting the precarious balance of Cold War politics. Fashion also took a revolutionary leap with the introduction of the miniskirt, symbolizing the era's broader cultural and sexual liberation. The 1970s were marked by significant events that reshaped global politics and economy, from the Watergate scandal shaking American trust in government to the end of the Vietnam War and the crippling oil crisis. These events signaled a shift towards more conservative economic policies and a re-evaluation of energy consumption. The 1980s were a decade of contrasts, from the harrowing impact of the AIDS epidemic to the euphoric fall of the Berlin Wall, signaling the end of the Cold War. MTV revolutionized the music industry and pop culture, making celebrities more influential than ever. The 1990s brought the Gulf War into living rooms around the world, while the dot-com boom signaled the rise of the internet, forever changing how society operates. Environmental awareness grew, leading to the birth of the modern environmental movement, and casual fashion began to infiltrate the workplace, reflecting a broader shift in societal values. Thank you for giving us the time to take you on a journey through 20th century events, fashion, culture, and technology. So make sure you subscribe and hit the like button and notification bell if you're enjoying our content. If you subscribe and comment "I subscribe," you'll be sure to get a comment from me. So stay tuned so that we can bring more exciting facts about history. Thank you.